Hi, I'm Marco, a Jiu-Jitsu brown belt.
John, Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Matt, Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
And this is Speakeasy Jiu-Jitsu. Today we're going to be talking to Professor Matt and Professor John. These are both my teachers, longtime friends, and we're going to be going through a bunch of really awesome stuff today. Hopefully to give you guys some insight on what I do while I'm here at the studio and while I'm teaching, and where most of my instruction comes from, and all of my ideas and theories. And if you don't like me, it's probably because of these guys. So let's have some fun. Jiu-Jitsu, you guys have been doing it for how long?
I started in 2003, blue belt in 04. I've been doing it probably 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Since 05.
05.
So, yeah, the only real break was 2017, 2018. Some have a little surgery done, but other than that, pretty much been solid the whole time.
What made you guys start training Jiu-Jitsu?
I knew, well, I mean, really it goes all the way back to the early 90s and seeing the early UFCs and really seeing how effective it was, just due to timing, money, and different things. I wasn't able to get to it as early on as I would have liked. Once everything kind of fell in line, then I was able to start. But
yeah.
Up until then, I had pretty much, the early UFCs really had a huge effect on seeing effectiveness.
Seemed like Hoist go in and dominate.
Yeah, Hoist, and then some of the other like offshoot organizations, seeing all the Gracies just dominate everybody. It was,
Yeah.
pretty obvious.
What about you?
My story is like the same, pretty much. I remember there was a group of us in like the 11th grade that rented the UFC, the first UFC, and it was like cage fighting. And it just seemed like every movie you ever saw as a kid where there was like cage fighting, and we all had theories about who was gonna win.
Yeah.
Because there was like sumo versus, just like, okay, and because there was no internet in '93, none of us knew the outcome of the video before watching it, which is like, you never get that anymore. So we put this video in and we see that skinny guy in pajamas coming out with like a bunch of guys behind him, and we're like, this guy's gonna get trounced.
They did the Gracie trade, right?
The Gracie training, yeah, full on. Like Hickson was in there, the whole family. They did the presentation to Helio there, like when they acknowledged him. But this whole thing was like, what is this? And then he ended up winning it. And no jiu-jitsu in Winnipeg, in Canada in the 90s. Kenpo was there, and there was like Taekwondo and karate, and that was it. So I couldn't even get my teeth into it if I wanted to. I moved to LA in 02, and one of the guys we trained with while I was coaching Kenpo was a jiu-jitsu blue belt from the Machados here in Pasadena, and he wrestled us a couple times, and man, he messed me up, and I was like, dang, I gotta learn this.
This was at the karate studio?
Yeah. We got in trouble. We got in trouble for...
Really?
Yeah, you were not allowed to wrestle or grapple or do anything that didn't look like waving your hands in the air or kicking bad guys in the air. Like you couldn't do it. There was legal reasons and all sorts of nonsense. So you make something like you're not supposed to do it, and you should do it. We have to go explore more. So yeah, that was it. A friend took me to go downtown LA, and I started. That was 03. That was it.
What people don't know is that all three of us are actually black belts in American Kenpo Karate. We don't practice anymore. You're a second degree black belt?
Second degree black belt, yeah.
Second degree black belt. You're a fourth degree
yeah.
black belt. When did you start training Kenpo?
97.
97. And when did you start?
95.
95. And I started in 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
So it's been... Yeah, we stopped training Kenpo a while back. What are the different arts that you guys have trained in, and how long have you done those arts?
I was introduced to, late in my Kenpo years, I was introduced to some Western boxing and American kickboxing. Moving forward now, I've been exposed to all Peter's awesome stuff. He's bringing in like a lot of like the FMA stuff minus the forms and stuff, and just like training methodology. I think now it's more about delivery system and what works than style. Really, like, style doesn't matter anymore. It's just almost a scientific discussion about what works, and in that way I feel like I can kind of study anything, but I've only been exposed to boxing, kickboxing, like very marginally. Jiu-Jitsu's been kind of like the main scope for me for the last probably decade.
Yeah, I mean, the only two I've spent like serious time obviously is Kenpo Karate and Jiu-Jitsu. I spent a period of time, I guess it was a good 2-year period when I was a blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu. I met some Filipino martial artists, And spent a good 1.5 2 years pretty much just training together once a week and trading notes. So I would teach them jiu-jitsu, they would teach me FMA. I also spent a year doing judo. Actually, before I actually started formally training jiu-jitsu, I did a year of judo. But I was getting a little old to be taking that many falls. Yeah. So, but that's, a little bit of FMA and a little bit of judo is all I really have formally. A little bit of boxing theory, but primarily just the Kenpo and Jiu-Jitsu.
We were just talking on Thursday night about like how the probably single biggest regret I have, like, too, is not spending any time in high school, that time doing any wrestling, which was probably available to me if I looked and if I had known better, and any kind of boxing. Yeah. And just Western boxing, boxing, Olympic boxing, whatever. Just anything like that would have been.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the bummer, right? But whatever.
You guys started jiu-jitsu later, so you were like already 30 or 20 something when
I was in my mid-20s when I started.
I was in my late 20s.
You were late 20s, I was 16 when I started jiu-jitsu.
Lucky.
So
Lucky.
I wish I get jealous of the students we have now, because those kids are starting at 4 years old or 8 years old or 10 years old. I'm like, man, how come my parents didn't put me in jiu-jitsu at that age? Because I mean, now it's so much more beneficial for me, having seen, even if you don't learn like techniques to a certain degree, you're still just physically able to do things. Like, your body's just used to it.
Yeah, I think it's a natural thing to regret not starting earlier. I mean, I don't think I've ever met anybody, no matter how young they started, that didn't go, I wish I started earlier. But I think the thing for a lot of people is that the age you start is the right age, whatever that is. Because whatever your life experience, maturity level, or whatever it is that brought you to that point to get to training, if you stuck with it after that, then that was the right time, I really believe. Because I think, as much as I would have loved to have started at 10 or 16 or whatever it is, I don't know that I would have been able to stick to it at those ages. I might have gone somewhere else and missed out on all the rewards I've gotten from it. So as much as we go, oh, I regret this and that, you can't. You just have to take what you got and move with it. That's kind of my thought on it. But
let's talk about your guys' lineage. You came from Wander Bragas, correct? I'll let you explain.
Wander Braga, 2003 to 2004, white to blue, and then formally Cobrina from 11 till just a few months ago, so 19.
And
my lineage has been the same pretty much since the day when I started with Rodrigo Teixeira back in 2005. Teixeira left for travels a few years ago, and Sammy Garcia took over the school, so now it's Teixeira Garcia. I got my second stripe brown belt from Rodrigo. I got my black belt directly from Sammy Garcia, and then when Rodrigo was back after my initial 3 years, I got my first stripe from Rodrigo and Sammy together. So
I've gotten every single rank belt from these guys. We've been training for a long time. You guys way longer than me. You're bound to have a few funny martial arts stories.
2 protective cups shatter from front kicks to the groin. Those were awesome moments. It's not funny.
Were those?
Why were you laughing?
Matt breaking any of your cups?
No. One of my instructors when I lived in Canada, and then one of the instructors here in the Pasadena school gave me a pretty gnarly shot. It always sounded like a little plastic explosion in my underwear. I was like, oh! And I was afraid of shards.
Yeah.
Never happened, but yeah. I don't even think that's funny, but like it's kind of fun. Like in
it's
hindsight, it is. Yeah, but I wouldn't put that on anybody, man. Don't let that happen to you. If you're training a martial art where you have to get kicked in the groin repetitiously, diligently every time you go and train, you should probably question the training tactics. So don't do it.
One I can think of, not really crazy funny, just had some weird experiences. I remember this so vividly because it was the worst sound ever. I remember one time rolling a guy. I've been training with a guy for years. He was a little bit older, and I had a Americana. I remember his gi jacket was kind of tangled up, and so I'm going, and I start hearing tearing, and I'm going. I thought I was tearing his gi jacket, and after this tear went on for like a couple of seconds, all of a sudden I get like a panic tap, and he's, oh dude, you hurt my shoulder, and I'm like, yes, but I thought that was your gi, and I think that kind of messed his shoulder up. But yeah, I felt really bad. I didn't know. I guess I tore his rotator cuff or something. I don't know.
It's like Toy Story when Buzz is holding his arm.
Yeah, well, and it was funny because I really wasn't like cranking on it, and I'm hearing it, and it's going slow, and it's slow, and I'm thinking I'm tearing the gi, and then all of a sudden after we hear that tearing sound go on for about 2-3 seconds, he panic taps and it was his shoulder. So
yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this story, but my cousin's he's a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu. At the time, he was a blue belt, and he's competing, and he had the guy in the Americana, and he's like pulling the Americana down, and all of a sudden you hear this huge like snap, like somebody broke a bunch of pencils, and he looks up at the ref, and the guy's not tapping, so he continues to go and starts to hurt. And he stops, and his forearm broke here. He had the person in the Americana, but his arm broke.
What?
Yeah, man. So he was just like, he holds his arm, and he like immediately runs off the mat, and they go to the emergency room. He broke his own arm from the American.
That's why you need to employ puppy paws.
Puppy paws, but it snapped here.
Dude.
Man.
Must have been the angle, or the guy had like
Alex Albertian arms.
Yeah.
Like, he got one of Americana, that guy.
Beast.
I've choked him one time, and I had that pinch you get in your wrist from like trying to like really get choked. Just like I had to stop. I almost tapped myself from choking him.
Can't choke him. Got a wrist lock.
He's actually funny. He makes like he'll break the jiu-jitsu rule, make a little bit of eye contact while you're trying to choke him. And he'll go say something. He'll have it on dead, and he's got the strongest neck in the world. He'll get you.
Like that.
Yeah, like, that's so close. You jerk.
Just die.
Just demoralized.
Just die.
Yeah. I want your neck work like everyone else's.
Any serious injuries that you guys have got while training?
Yeah. Well, another dislocated toe that's still dislocated.
One of those was me.
Oh, that one I put back in place. But you dislocated my toe once. That one went back. The other one I didn't realize it was dislocated and it healed out of place. Torn meniscus, it required surgery. The hip replacement wasn't really from jiu-jitsu. It got to the point that I couldn't do jiu-jitsu unless I got a new hip. So
I blame skateboarding, military, lots of years of karate, and then judo, and then jiu-jitsu. I blame the accumulation of your life on that.
And running, doing runs.
There
So the thing is that for anyone that does have major injuries, genetic things, surgeries, you can't let it stop you. It's slowed me down a little, but still on
your
the mat.
guard is completely different. It's like wrestling with a different person now.
Yeah, I have no closed guard game anymore. So.
A lot of little injuries. I say a lot of times that most of us in jiu-jitsu, we injure ourselves. That's probably it. Like you do a move kind of funny or you move too quick, you're trying to catch up and you end up jamming your own finger. I've jammed almost every single finger on the mat or on other people.
Or dodgeball.
Or having people, dodgeball. Having people break my grips real hard. I've had like knuckles like flare up so I can't wear my wedding band anymore. My foot, I got my foot stacked from heel to toe with like someone's body when I was a white belt. I got knee barred as a blue belt competing in Pancratia. That was a real rough one that hurt. A couple of hard arm locks. My elbows like probably mildly dislocated, but nothing needing surgery. Shoulders, neck injuries. My low back has probably been the most significant thing, but I think a lot of that was due to posture and trying to do like a lot of athletic fast things in my mid 30s where I should be like, yo, chill out.
Yeah.
So, nothing bigger than that, I don't think. And then like really, like, every time I roll with someone where I feel like they're a danger to me, I abide by the rules of jiu-jitsu, which is like I just tap like really, really early. Like I'm not so proud not to tap and make sure if I feel like there's an imminent threat and this person's just way bigger than me or way stronger, and for whatever reason I'm behind the game a bit, I just tap early.
Yeah, I feel like I tap the most with white belts just because I want to reset a dangerous position.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
you don't know if they're gonna crank your neck or do something kind of funny or Chuck
because
Norris.
they grab across your face or just tap and let's reset. Like who cares?
I've had some dudes try and go full Steven Seagal on me, like doing arm stuff or like weird things.
Yeah.
Or grabbing my head with two hands. It's like, whoa, dude, like let's not go. Let's not go
I
there.
had a guy back in the day, and this is crazy. This guy weighed about 250. And I pretty much weighed the same one time. And I forget what it's called, but he tried to just do one of those like sacrifice arm locks. So we were both kneeling and I had a cross grip and he just grabbed and had to throw his like whole
it's-
body
yeah.
across my elbow. And fortunately, I let go and pulled back. But had he completed that, that wouldn't have been an arm bar. That
Yeah.
would've-
In your mind, you played out the scenario of him landing on your elbow and shattering your hopes and dreams.
Oh,
for
it
the
would have
rest
been.
of your life.
I would still have an elbow that went that way. Like, it was, yeah.
Yeah, I've had my sternum broken. From you.
It's like one of my favorite moves. Not breaking your sternum,
Yeah.
but like reversing the single leg.
The sternum lock?
Over.
Sternum lock.
Ye old destruction.
Yeah,
of
but I
the
just
sternum.
landed weird, right? Like I was speared all of my body weight on your knee.
I think twice.
Yeah, the second
then-
one wasn't as bad.
yeah.
It was like my ribs and it was a bruise, but and that
Right.
wasn't that long ago. That one it happened again like
Oh, it'll happen again soon.
Don't worry. I'm working on it. Or got a date on the calendar.
All right, so if you like that video, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and if you want to get notifications when new videos are up, click that notification bell.
if you guys have any input, please let us know down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Positive, negative, whatever you guys think. And remember guys, tap early, tap often, and we're tapping out. And then me and Lynda usually dance at this part, but
I'm not dancing.
you don't have to dance.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming.
I didn't. Yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
So 3 jiu-jitsu black belts walk into a bar,
Ah.
and the bartender says,